Canva templates. I'm sure if you're a digital product seller, then you're probably well aware of the amazing opportunity to earn passive income that selling Canva templates presents. If you're not familiar, Canva is a free and super easy to use web-based design platform that you can actually go on and create your own original design as a template and then sell to someone who would then go on and edit it and make it their own, changing the fonts and the colors to make it exactly what they want to use for their own personal or business purpose. Selling editable Canva templates is an awesome way to earn passive income selling digital products. Essentially, you do the work once up front to create the template and then list it to sell on repeat. So it's making sales over and over again, and you're only having to do the work once, so you're not actually having to do active work to continue bringing in each payday. This way, you're earning passive income in your sleep while you're on vacation. You're only doing the work once up front. This is why I love the idea of selling Canva templates as a digital product to sell on Etsy or on whatever platform your e-commerce shop is on. So in today's video, I'm spilling the beans on my top 4 tips or hacks, if you will, for creating Canva templates that are going to be flying off the shelves and racking up those cha-chings in your shop. Coming up. Well, hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So glad you're here today. If this is our first time meeting and this is your first time finding this channel, I'm Kate. I'm a wife, mom, Etsy seller, and business coach, and I'm here to help you start and scale your online shop so that you can make a full-time income doing what you love. Today, we're talking about all things digital products and specifically Canva templates. So like I mentioned before, in this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 4 tips for creating editable Canva templates that you can then sell in your shop over and over again to make passive profit. It may sound pretty easy and straightforward to sell Canva templates, and in a way it is, but you do have to have some smart strategy and know what you're doing going into it to make sure that you're creating templates that actually are going to be in demand and in a style that people are going to want to purchase. There are also some features and tools inside Canva that you may not know about that would be really helpful for you as a designer, as a seller creating these templates to level up your templates and make them absolutely irresistible. This is actually video 1 in a 2-part series, so today is all about these 4 design tips. And then the second video in the series is coming out next week, and that'll be a few additional tips that I'll give you on the actual listing itself and how to really level up and make your listing top quality, and some elements you need to make sure to include in your shop when you're listing these templates to sell to best optimize them to break through the competition and be the one that your ideal customer says, yes, I have to have these templates. So make sure to watch this video all the way through and then check back next week for that second video in this Canva template series. Okay, so we're about to hop on the computer and I'm going to walk you through each of these 4 tips in Canva. But first, I want to let you know if you are a digital product seller or if you're wanting to become a digital product seller, I have a free resource for you that I know is going to be super helpful for you, especially because of how confusing this world of digital products can be and learning the technical side of things like resolution, sizing, aspect ratio, file types. It can be really overwhelming. So I've put together a really simple and easy to follow beginner's guide to selling digital products that addresses all of those common tech questions to get you started off on the right foot. So if you'd like to download that guide, it's totally free to you. I'll have that digital product starter guide linked in the description box below so you can grab that right after you watch this video. Okay, a couple things I want to mention before we dive in. Number 1 is that to work on Canva, you will have to have a Canva account. Now you can totally use the free version of Canva. I do have a link below in case you'd like to try Canva Pro for 30 days for free. You can click that and get a free 30-day trial to Canva Pro. But everything I'm going to be showing you in today's tutorial can definitely be done with the free version of Canva. Now, there are a lot of different types of Canva templates you can sell, but for today's tutorial, we're going to be making an Instagram bundle. So this is a social media bundle that people might use for their Instagram account. So maybe posts or stories, but I'm going to be showing you some different types of Instagram post templates that you could make as a bundle to sell. Okay, so here we are. When we come to canva.com, you'll see your homepage, and we're going to come up here to create a design, and you can enter in what size you want your design to be. Now, if we're working on an Instagram template, it's really easy because it already has these preset sizes for you. You can choose Instagram story, post, whatever you want. So for this example, we're going to be working with a square Instagram post. So we're going to create our canvas as a square. And the first tip I want to talk about is using shapes. So shapes are really popular and eye-catching in graphic design. So one thing you can do right off the bat when you're creating your Instagram template graphic is you can choose a background color. Now, I would suggest that you think of a color scheme that you might want to stick with, maybe 3 or 4 different colors for your whole bundle so that everything is really cohesive and aesthetically pleasing. And same thing for fonts. So when you're choosing fonts for your text, you don't want a million different fonts going on. You want maybe just 3 fonts to focus on throughout your bundle of templates. So we've got our background color here. We might come over to elements and look for just a simple square shape. So we might choose a square and then we can put a different color into this square. Of course, a color that's matching our color theme here. And we can do whatever we want with this square. So we might just size it up and over to create the look we want. Now, what I want to show you specifically is if we come to elements, I want you to scroll down to where it says frames. This is one of my favorite sections on Canva because they have all of these different shaped photo frames. So what a frame is a shape that you can actually drag onto your canvas, and then you can put a photo in here, and whatever photo or graphic you drag into your frame will be fitted to that shape. So for instance, if we wanted this circle right here, then we could come back to elements and look for a photograph that we want to fit that circle. So let's say we want to have a computer themed graphic. We might come over here and type computer and then click on photos. And any of these photos that you see that don't have the little crown symbol are free to use. If they have the crown symbol that says Pro, that means that that photo is a Pro element, and you're going to have to either have a Pro account to use that or pay to remove the watermark. And in general, when we're selling templates, we want to make sure that our buyers can use all of the elements that we include on the template with the free Canva, because not everyone's going to have a Pro account with Canva. So if you're using a photo or an element in your templates, make sure to use just the ones that are the free elements. But let's say we like this laptop picture here with the person typing, we would drag it over our frame and it automatically fits into our shape circle frame here. So now let's go back to our frames again and see what other fun shapes they have, because there are so many different fun ones that you can play around with. So let's delete this circle and maybe we want to try something fun like this. So then let's go back to our photo and drag it over, and we see that it fits to the shape of the frame. Now, if we want to move this photo around inside of the shape of our frame, we can double click it and then we can drag the photo over to where we want it inside the frame and enter, and that's where it'll stay. So using different fun shapes like this will really instantly level up your templates and make them really eye-catching for sure. Now, I want to go back to our circle because I want to show you the next thing you can do as far as shapes go. So let's bring this circle back. Now we have that as our image. Let's say we want to add some text to this. We would come over to text, add a text box. We're going to type whatever we want here. Let's say that we want this to be more of an inspirational graphic. So we might type, "You already have," and then we'll finish the quote at the bottom. But for this part, let's say we want this text to wrap around and be a fun shape around this circle. We can actually come up here to effects and click on curve, and that will curve our text that we have selected. Now this is curving obviously around a smaller size circle, so we can come here to this bar right here and lessen the curve or increase the curve based on the size of the circle we want it to fit around. So let's bring this down. We want this to sort of go around this circle image that we have going on here. And then let's see if we can fit this to look right around this circle. We might want to make our text a little bit bigger so it'll be bold on our image and center it. And then let's make this a little bit tighter. And then another fun thing is we can actually rotate this. So if we wanted to bring it more on the side and have it off-centered, but on the side, we could bring it over here as well by clicking this little arrow button that rotates back and forth. But let's say we want this to be centered. We can go ahead and bring it back to the middle here and make sure it's centered around our circle. And of course, we want to change this to whatever font we've decided to use for our title font within our template bundle. And we can always change the text color as well. We want to make sure that we're sticking with a nice contrast. So in general, if we have a darker background, we're going to use light text. If we have a light background, we're going to use dark text. And then we might add one more text box down here to finish our quote. And there we go. That's just an example of something that you could include in an Instagram bundle. And so when you sell this as a template, your buyer is going to be able to come in here and click on this and edit this inside of their account however they like. So they'd be able to change these different colors for the text, for the background. They'd be able to switch this photo out and put a different photo in. But you're giving them a fun place to start. And using shapes is a wonderful thing to up-level your graphics. So these frames and curving your text and doing some fun shapes with that are really going to set set your templates apart from the competition. Okay, so as we're working through this, we want to have multiple templates. If we're offering a bundle, we want to have multiple templates all in one page on Canva so that we'll eventually be able to share one template link and they'll see all of them in a row. So what we do to add a new one, if we're happy with this one, we're going to go on and make another one, is we can duplicate the page by clicking that little plus button where it says duplicate page. And then we're just going to delete all of the elements that we had in that because we're going to create a new design for the next one. So tip number 2 that we're going to talk about is transparency. One thing I love playing around with on Canva is transparency. So I'll show you what I mean by this. Instead of choosing a background color for this, let's choose a background photo that's going to go all the way across our canvas here. So again, we're going to come to elements and we're going to search for a photo that we like. Let's say we want one with a notebook. We're going to click on photos and let's say we like this one with the coffee. So we're going to size this up to fit our canvas the way we like. We can of course drag it around to end up where we want it. And then we're going to come back and add our circle shape or whatever shape we like there. I'm just going to work with a plain circle for now. And we're going to make this circle a good size and we're going to drag it to the middle because we're actually going to put some text on top of this circle in just a minute. So let's make this a pretty large circle. And then of course we want to have the color of the circle fit in with our theming here. So whatever color we'd like to put it in. I'm going to do a darker color so you can see what I mean by transparency. So we choose our color and then if you come up here, if you're on the desktop Canva, you'll see this little symbol right here that says transparency. You're going to click on that and there's a bar. So as you take this transparency bar down, you'll see that the circle is becoming more and more see-through or transparent. So of course we don't want it all the way or it's completely see-through. We want it to be just a little bit see-through so that when we put our text on top, we still have a good bit of contrast with the background and the text, but we can still see through to that background image. So let's put our transparency right about here. And then we're going to come over to text and add some text to go on top of this circle. So let's say this is for a sale. We might say mega sale. Now let's make this text pretty large to fit within this circle. We're going to center it. Of course, we want to change our font to one of our theme fonts here. So let's do that. And then we can also change the font color. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it from further back. But we can see how professional just making that circle that's in the background a little transparent makes this whole image. It really levels it up and adds a nice polished feel to this. It makes it look professional because it just seems a little bit more professional than just putting a solid color circle there. You can always play around with the transparency on photos as well. So let's delete this circle and let's say that we want to just have text on top of our photo. We can make our text dark and then we can actually select the background photo itself and use the transparency slider to make it a little bit transparent. If we want dark text, but it's not quite contrasting enough because of the colors in the picture, we can bring the transparency of the picture down a little bit to make that dark text stand out a little bit more. You can pretty much change the transparency on most any element on Canva. So that's just another really fun thing to play around with, is making things more and less transparent. I hope this is super helpful for you. We're about to dive into tips number 3 and 4, but I want to let you know that I have a free guide linked below for you if you're confused about what type of content you might create for something like a social media bundle of templates. We can talk all day about how to choose colors and fonts, and that's amazing from the design side of things, but I know the confusing part can be really deciding, how do people offer these template bundles of 300 and 400 different designs? How are they coming up with all of the content and topics that they're putting on those graphics? So I've done the research for you and made it super easy and simple for you. If you're wanting to offer a social media template bundle, I have a free PDF download linked in the description box of this video for you that you can get after you watch this video. Just click on that. It'll give you a whole list of topic prompts. So these are content topics of things that you can include if you're offering something like a social media bundle. So it'll definitely cut down on the hours of research that you'll have to do as a designer and give you an amazing shortcut if you're wanting to start designing your templates today. Okay, let's move on to tip number 3 here. And this is to make use of Canva's free photos to create layers in your design. I've noticed as I've been researching these template bundles that designs with several layers do really well. So let's click our duplicate button here and delete these elements on our new design to create something with some layers here to show you what I'm talking about. Let's size this up a little bit so we can see. And then we're going to come over and first choose a background photo, kind of like we did last time. Let's come to our elements and search for, let's say we want a desk with a plant on it. We'll search for some type of photo like that. Okay, let's say we like this one. Let's get it to the right size. And then I'm going to bring the transparency down just a little bit because this is our background and we're going to be putting some layers on top of it. So I don't want this to be quite as noticeable as the top layers. Now, another thing that I love that we're going to use for our next layer that's available on Canva is going back to our frames, but they are actually mock-up frames. So if we go back to our frame section and click see all, we're going to use a device mock-up like a smartphone or a tablet or something like that. So let's come up here in the search bar. We can search the frame section for a phone mock-up. This will show us everything within that frame section that fits the phone mockup. So we have a few different designs here, but actually I kind of like this tablet one. So let's try a tablet mockup instead. Let's do tablet mockup, and we can use something like this as a frame, but it looks like a device, right? So we're going to center this, and then we're going to drag another photo into our frame. All right, let's say that we want something to do with macrame. Click on photos, and we're going to drag over the photo we like into the frame, and then we can always resize this frame up or down depending on what we want the final image to look like. Okay, I ended up moving the background image over so that it's not quite centered, but that way the focus is more on our front image here. And now we're going to add a text bar that's going across to announce whatever we want it to say. So we're going to come to our elements again, and we're going to look for a rectangle shape. I'm going to choose this, and we can size it down to whatever width we want and bring it across like a bar. We can make this rectangle whatever color we want as well to match our theming. And then if we want another layer, we can actually duplicate this rectangle by clicking the plus button right here. That gives us another one just like it. All we're going to do with this is change the color of this, and we're going to size it down just slightly so it'll go on top of our background rectangle here. We probably want it to go all the way across, so let's bring the left and right sides all the way over and make sure this is centered over the other rectangle. So there we have our two rectangles that are going across, and we're going to add text on the top of this. So we can click text, add a heading, bring this down. Let's go ahead and change the text color to something that'll contrast well. Let's just do white for this one. And then we might say 50% off sale. Let's make sure our text is in one of our fonts. We definitely want something like this to be a really easy to read one, and we can make it whatever size we like and drag it to center. And then if we want to move these boxes and font around together, we can always select by clicking shift and then select the elements that you want, and then come up here to the right hand side where it says group, click that. And once you've grouped a few elements together, you can drag them all around together as a group. So if we want to like put this in a different place, maybe at the bottom or up a little bit, we could drag it to wherever we want it. And one more thing we can do if we really want to level this up with layers is we can come to elements. We're going to choose our square element again. We're going to actually put this as white. Now, of course, this is just depending on what sort of look you want, but for this tutorial, I'm just going to choose white, and I'm going to bring the square to the whole size of the canvas. I'm going to click position and backward. This is going to send it backward one layer at a time. So it's essentially taking that top square and putting it behind the other elements that I've added. So now it's behind this text box and this image. And now I'm going to play with the transparency of this and bring it down so we can start to see our background image coming through a little bit more. But this just gives it a little bit of a transparent white layer over it to make these two top layers pop a little bit more. We can make it more transparent or less transparent depending on the look that we want for the final image. All right, and tip number 4 is to offer different sizing of the same template. So you can offer the same design templates in different sizing. So for example, in our Instagram bundle, we might have the same designs, but we have a whole set that is in a square size for Instagram post. We could have another set that's sized for vertical Instagram post. And then we could have a third set that we offer inside the bundle that's sized for the Instagram story. So the hack here is that you don't have to do triple the work to offer these 3 different sets. You can use the designs you already created in one size, let's say the square size, and resize them to be used for either. This way, let's say you have 100 designs you've made, you could actually have a 300 design bundle because you have 100 designs, but they're each in 3 different sizes. So there are 2 ways you can do this in Canva. One is the easier way, but you do have to have Canva Pro to have this feature, so I'll show you that. But for those who don't have Canva Pro, you can definitely resize with the free version of Canva. It may just take a little bit more time, but I'm going to walk you through both so you can know how to do this either way. So first, let me show you the easier way that you do have access to if you have Canva Pro, which is this little resize feature right here in the top left corner. When you have your designs here, so we've designed these 3 all in the Instagram square size. Remember, that's 1080 by 1080 pixels. But let's say we want to offer these same designs in the vertical Instagram size. So those are going to be different dimensions, right? So we can click on this resize feature and we can either type in a custom size or we can start typing what we want. So it has presets like Instagram, post, portrait. So it's not square. This is the portrait or the vertical size, which is 1080 by 1350 pixels. So let's say we want to offer that. We'll just check Instagram post portrait, copy and resize. So when we click copy and resize, it actually opens up a new tab. So it's not closing our original tab, but we have a new tab here where it's copied all of our elements and designs over to canvases on the new size. So you'll see these are not square. These are actually vertical, which is the size for the Instagram portrait. So let's size this down a little bit so we can see a little bit better here. Now you may have to make some adjustments as you go through these because it doesn't automatically resize your elements. It just fits them onto that size canvas. Some may look fine as is, but some elements you may need to shift around a little bit. So for instance, here it did not resize our little white transparent box that we put in. We just have to click this and size it up and down to account for the extra space on this canvas. Then of course, we'd want to move our text down a little bit. We might want to make this a little bit bigger of an image to fit the canvas the right way. But in general, you can get this done pretty quickly by making these minor changes as you go through. So now you would have a whole set that you could share as your square size and then a whole set that you can share as a portrait size. You can do the same thing if you're wanting to offer these as an Instagram story or any other size. So that is definitely the easiest, most efficient way to do it, but you do have to have Pro to have that resize feature. Now, if you don't have Pro, what you would do is come to your home page and you'll create a new design in the size that you want. So remember, we came up here to create design. Let's type in Instagram post, and here it is, portrait. Let's click on that one. So this is going to give us a new design in the right size, but you see it doesn't have any of our previous elements. So we're going to have to kind of manually go through and copy and paste the elements over. It does take a little bit more time, but it is doable. So let's come back to our original square designs here. So let's say we want to copy and paste this over to our new design. We're just going to click to select all of these elements, and we're going to either right click and you can select copy, or if you want to use your keyboard shortcuts, you can click Command C, that'll copy it and come to your new canvas, select the canvas background, and you can push Command V to paste, and it'll paste your elements onto your new canvas. Now again, you may have to move these around a little bit to fit the right size and adjust as needed to make it look right, but you can definitely do that and make this look correct on the new canvas size. Now the next thing you do is just work through by selecting duplicate page like we did before, delete all of these elements, and we're going to copy and paste design by design. Select, copy. And there we go. You have your set of Instagram vertical and your set of Instagram square. So I hope those 4 tips for leveling up your Canva templates was helpful for you. I definitely think it's worth thinking about how you can include different fun shapes as frames, working with the transparency of your elements, adding layers with those amazing free Canva photos, and then increasing your bundle size by offering different sizes of the same designs. Now you definitely want to stick around for next week's video, which is going to be video 2 in this Canva template series, because we're going to be talking about a few more hacks from the listing side of things. So today's video is more about the design side of things. Next week's video is going to tap into how to actually optimize your listings, including thumbnails, graphics, and actual delivery of your template links to your buyers. So you don't want to miss that. Definitely check back next week for that. And don't forget to click the links below to download your free digital product starter guide, as well as that list of content prompts if you're interested in creating Canva templates for social media. Talk soon, friends.